It's 93.3 WMMR in Philadelphia. I am Sara. Tonight in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium because Metallica is about to kick off their M72 World Tour, at least this leg of it. And I am joined by Kirk Hammett of Metallica. Thank you so much for taking the time.
I am so happy to be here right now talking to you.
So this is the tour kickoff. Mm-hmm. For North America. You just got done the European run of this M72 No Repeats tour. How did that go?
It was great. I mean, we had a lot of fun playing those shows. It took us a couple shows to figure out that stage and, you know, how to wrangle that stage. And it took us a few shows to figure out what songs work best on that stage, but we've got that all worked out now. And so, you know, it's great because just in time for North America.
So we get the better end of that
you
deal.
Get the more refined, road tested show. Yes.
Well, when the playlist switches from night to night and you've got these gaps between shows, how do you vibe check the crowd? When you get off stage, what has to happen for you to go, okay, that was a kick-ass show?
Yeah, well, you know, every show is different. You know, every show has its own kind of like dynamic and vibe, and it really just boils down to our connection with the audience. You know, collectively, because like we can play, you know, any combination of songs, fan favorites, you know, deep cuts, whatever, and you know, you never really know quite how it's all going to go down until you just go out there and do it. And a lot of times we went out there with really challenging set lists and thinking, oh, this is going to be too much for the audience. The audience comes back, you know, loving it, the feedback we get. And sometimes we try to make really like fan friendly set lists. And then people are saying, well, you didn't play this, you didn't play that, and there wasn't enough deep cuts. So, you know, it's all about just trying to really just strike a balance.
You mentioned the stage for this tour is massive. I heard that the stage for your last tour can actually fit inside the snake pits for the stage on the start.
Yes.
How do you navigate that? Like literally, do you get a little lost sometimes?
Sometimes I wish I got lost just sometimes. We get lost a lot on that because it's just picture just like a big donut or kind of like, you know, oval with no landmarks. Wow. You know, the only landmark is the drum kit. And so when you're playing and you're like so focused in on your instrument and on the performance, the last thing you think about is where am I at on stage, you know? And that's not something that we think about during the songs. It's something we think about after the songs.
Right.
So a lot of times
Final note, where do I go? Where do I go? You know, what do I do?
So a lot of times after the song, you'll see, you know, me or James or Rob just like doing this really quick sort of trot toward where our techs are and where all our other guitars are. Right. And that's what that is all about. But, you know, another interesting thing to know about the stage is like, when you do 14 revolutions around it, it equals 1 mile. And, you know, I think I do that by like the 7th or 8th song.
So you're burning a lot of calories in a single show.
Yeah. But, you know, that's what I'm here to do. You know, that's what we always do. We always go out there and just give it a ton of adrenaline, a ton of sweat, a ton of effort. And, you know, just really just try to just play our asses off and do the best show that we can do under the circumstances, you know. And that's kind of been our approach to every show.
I've seen Metallica in stadiums like this one. I've seen Metallica in arenas, and I was also lucky enough to see Metallica in a tiny little place not too far from here, Webster Hall in New York City back in 2016. Yeah, what do you remember about that night? Because it was such a special show for so many reasons.
Yeah, I you know, Webster Hall is a really, really cool place to play. And so when we played there, it was just like, yeah, this reminds me of being somewhere out on the Ride the Lightning tour.
Nice.
You know, and for us, I mean, it's a real treat to play the smaller places because obviously we get stuck in playing these bigger places only because just, you know, the math of it all. you got to play bigger places because we have so many fans. And when you play smaller places, it's great for a certain percentage of the fans, but a lot of the other fans miss out. And so it's just one of those things, you know, we like doing the smaller shows, but it's kind of like, it's not really a great thing for, you know, for us to be doing all the time, because sooner or later there's going to be people who miss out. So it's all about a balance of like, you know, playing the bigger shows and finding a way to play the smaller shows in a way that, you know, it's just like, I don't know, it just works.
Well, Metallica does such a great job at bringing the fans into the experience, no matter what the experience is. That Webster Hall show was pressed to vinyl. Yeah. So anyone who was or wasn't there was able to pick it up and like have a physical product and look at the art and see the videos online. And Metallica, you just purchased a pressing plant, one that you've been working with for a while, but now it's yours. Yes. So does that allow for opportunities to press, you know, maybe rare tracks or more shows?
You know, we have plans.
Yeah.
I mean, we have plans for that pressing plant. I mean, we have big plans. You know, when it comes to Metallica and in certain situations, certain business situations where we can be creative about what we do about it, you know, then it becomes a really, really cool like project for us. And, you know, having this pressing plant is the beginning of a great project that we're going to be embarking on in the next 10 years or so. Are
you a vinyl guy? Do you collect vinyl?
You know, I just like music. You know, I just like, I remember 8 tracks. I remember reel to reels. I remember cassettes, you know, albums, obviously, CDs, DAT tapes. And they're all just kind of formats for me with, you know, various grades of like, you know, audio fidelity. And it's all really, really, really great. But man, you know, to me, it's just like a good song just comes across, no matter if you're listening to it on, you know, through a shitty like 3-inch radio speaker or like a massive system. A good song will always be a good song. And so, you know, I don't get too lost in, you know, in the audio part of things, because that's a rabbit hole that I could easily go down, because I go down that route with my guitar sound and, you know, guitar tones. And so that's something that, you know, I just kind of purposely stay away from, because,
you know, leave it to the other experts.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll be an expert at what you do.
Yeah, you know, and I have a lot of friends who are total audiophiles who had like the most massive stereo setups. And those are the people I'd like to come visit.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to deal with the setup or explaining why it's high fidelity and all that stuff. You can just come and enjoy it.
Enjoy their setup.
Yeah. We're speaking with Kirk Hammett of Metallica on 93.3 WMMR. Metallica's debut album, Kill 'Em All, just celebrated its 40th anniversary a few weeks ago. And Ride the Lightning, not far behind, going to celebrate the same milestone next year. What is your relationship to those early tracks like today?
Well, when I listened to those tracks, I'm just kind of blown away when I look back. You know, we were all so young, but we had a very clear vision of what we wanted to do, what we wanted to sound like, how we wanted to execute things, the type of songs we wanted to write. I mean, you know, for as young as we are, we all had a collective vision and we knew exactly what we wanted. And, you know, what we wanted and what we were chasing was very unique. No one else was, very few other bands were chasing that same vision. You know, it was us, it was Slayer, it was Anthrax, it was Megadeth, it was Exodus, you know, it was Overkill, it was Testament. There was a lot of bands who were, you know, chasing that vision, and we all had kind of like the same vision. But what blows me away about it is we're all around the same age, you know? And so I don't know if that happens these days. You know, you find out just a large group of people, you know, a scene where everyone's just all into the same thing and is supporting each other. And then somehow, some way, you know, record companies are start, you know, going, what's going on? Start getting curious. And next thing you know, all of a sudden there's a record company in the room and he's signing everyone. And we're all like 22, 23 years old. It's, you know, the fact that we got so much done at such a young age just blows me away, because we had something on our sides, you know, something, we had some sort of like energy, or God was smiling down on us, or the universe was pushing us. And thank God, you know, because those two albums, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, when they came out, there was nothing like it, you know,
right.
And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and it seems like it was such a special time and special community, and a community that was, you kind of touched on it, but born out of proximity, right? You made friends by going to the record store and just seeing who was there picking up the same records.
Yeah,
and now you can create community on your phone with someone who is across the world.
Yeah.
So things have changed just a little bit.
Yeah. You know, and you know, that type of community, it's great that you can do that, but you know, there's something about people being in the room, being together, that just like there is, I don't care what people say about Zoom or FaceTime or whatever, there will be nothing there'll be a substitution for people in a room, you know, brainstorming, being creative, you know, vibing off each other, feeling the chemistry. I mean, it can be done remotely, and we did that with 72 seasons, you know, but still we missed the live interaction and whatnot. And so, you know, getting back to your question about Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, I'm actually blown away when I look back at it. You know, when we're touring, when we were making those albums and touring behind them, we just kind of took it for granted. It's just like, you know, all right, we did that. Let's go on to the next thing. We never like sat down and really thought about the accomplishment that we made.
Right.
And so, you know, 40 years later, I'm able to do that. And I'm able to go, man, you know, we really pulled something off, and we were just kind of blasé about it. You know,
yeah, well, the momentum, it just carried you. I mean, you took off, and no pun intended. I'm wondering when Metallica is going to space, because I just watched that Artemis hype video, soundtracked by Fuel. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be an astronaut now. This kicks ass. And really, Metallica, I feel like, has done just about everything there is to do on this earth.
I want to go up and play in space. I want to play in zero gravity. That would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
I want to play on the moon. You know,
I think if anyone can make it happen, it's y'all.
And you know, it's really funny. It's just like lately you've seen all this stuff about UFOs and extraterrestrials and whatnot. And you know, I get all this info slipping by, and I'm thinking, you know, it's one of the info is like they know all about us, right?
Right.
You know, and they know our culture. So I'm just thinking, they know our culture. I'm wondering if they're like listening to our music.
I think, yes, if there are aliens, their favorite band is Metallica. That's what we can glean from this. Yeah.
Do we have like fans that are way out there?
Way out there. Like so far out there.
But do we have fans that are way out there?
Well, before you go to space, can you come back to Philly? Because Philadelphia misses you. What do you have to say to the people who are waiting for you to come back?
I got to tell you, I'll never forget that Tower Theater show during the Ride the Lightning tour, because it was radical. And man, we busted the place up. And I remember that show was so crazy. It was one of those shows on that tour where it was just like, wow, that Tower Theater show is something else. And we were talking about that show for like years afterwards.
Legendary.
And you know, this is how much of an impression it made on me, because I still remember it now. You know,
the building's still there. I think God. Metallica should come.
Thank God.
Maybe tear it down.
Should play there just for old time's sake. You know, that would be actually very, very cool.
Love it. Well, I know you've got a tour to kick off tonight, so I'll let you go. Kirk Hammett of Metallica, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.